to the house, it might trigger something Weston didn't want triggered. "Why?" her brother asked her. "Just do it," Addie insisted. "Please." She sounded more like an annoyed sister than a woman whose lip had been trembling just moments earlier. More silence from Jericho, followed by some mumblings, but Weston did hear the clicks of a computer keyboard. "Yeah, he's a ranger in the San Antonio unit," her brother verified. "Why?" Jericho repeated, but he didn't wait for an answer. "And does he have anything to do with that SOB scumbag you met in San Antonio? The one who slept with you and—" "I'll call you back," Addie interrupted, and she hung up. She dodged his gaze when she slid her phone back into her pocket. Weston doubted she'd put a quick end to that call for his sake, but it did give him a glimpse of what she'd been going through for 3 months. She had obviously told Jericho about her brief affair with a man who'd seemingly disappeared from the face of the earth, and her brother clearly didn't have a high opinion of him. SOB scumbag. Well, the label fit. Weston didn't have a high opinion of himself either, and he hadn't in a very long time. Addie wouldn't believe that he had plenty of regrets when it came to her. After all his lies, she would never believe that he'd fallen in bed with her only because of the intense attraction he had felt for her. An attraction he still felt. Still, he shouldn't have acted on it. He should have just kept his distance and tailed her until her father made his move, no matter how long that took. "Start from the beginning," Addie insisted, turning her attention back to Weston. "And so help me, every word coming out of your mouth had better be the truth, or I'll let Jericho have a go at you. I don't make a habit of letting my big brother fight my battles for me, but in your case, I'll make an exception." Weston figured that wasn't a bluff. The beginning required him to take a deep breath. 2 years ago, I went to my fiancée's office to see her. I'd just come off an undercover assignment and hadn't seen her in a few weeks. Her name was Colette, and I walked in on someone murdering her. Hell, it hurt to say that aloud. It didn't set well with Addie either because she made a slight gasping sound. "It was my birth father," she supplied. "I saw a list of his known victims, all 16 of them, and Colette Metcalf was one of them." Weston nodded, and it took him a moment to trust his voice again. "I didn't know it was him at the time, and I didn't get a look at his face because he knifed me and ran out. I obviously survived, but Colette wasn't so lucky. She died by the time the ambulance arrived." She touched her fingers to her mouth. It was trembling again, and Addie leaned against the edge of her desk, no doubt for support. "Your name wasn't in the reports I read of the murders." "No, the FBI and Rangers thought it best if they didn't make it public. They didn't want him coming after me to tie up loose ends. The killer hadn't gotten a good look at my face because I was still wearing my undercover disguise. But he must have found out who I was because letters from the Moonlight Strangler started arriving 3 months ago." 3 months? She repeated under her breath. Addie no doubt picked up on the timing. Weston doubted it was a coincidence that the letters started arriving shortly after he met her. "The killer mentions me in these letters?" she asked, and Weston had to nod. That meant the Moonlight Strangler had perhaps already been watching Addie and had seen Weston with her. Or maybe the killer had been watching him. Either way, Weston figured the killer had started sending those letters because he knew about Addie and him sleeping together. "All the letters and envelopes were typed," Weston continued. "So there's no handwriting to be analyzed, no fibers or trace on any of them. They were mailed from various locations all over the state." Addie shook her head. "How can you be sure they're from the killer?" "Because there are details in them that were withheld from the press. Details that only the Moonlight Strangler would know." She stayed quiet a moment.